everyone? Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. So what are we watching for now in IOTA? IOTA hit our next little GAN cluster area, this 197 to 198 area. Now pulling back again. We're going to see this is a prior resistance with the rising rotation zone. So we're going to watch to see if it pulls back. 184.50 is the first level of pullback. The next major area of pullback is around 177 to 179. So we watch for a pullback and a rotation back up. We can also update our levels to see if there are any other good levels coming up here that matter. So on the next push higher, we're still looking, now we can look for about the 203 to 205 mark. I'd really focus on this 205 because it's end of advanced clear path and it based off a trend line trade that did trigger into this. That is the full target on it. So that's really the level that I'd be watching for, 205 right there after we get a pullback and then a rotation back up. Let's check on the daily chart. Daily chart, let me expand it so we can see it. That always helps. So we're right clearly in the rotation zone right now. So nothing yet to worry about. We haven't hit the upper end yet, but at any point, if we do break hard in a 4 hour, this could still turn down and we could retest some key levels, but IOTA is looking pretty good for the time being. Switching over to Litecoin. Litecoin pushed up, didn't quite get to the 163 level yet, got to 162.33, so that's what we'll still be watching for, the 163 and then the 169 eventually, although keep in mind there could be some pretty heavy resistance coming in about 168.34 area. Now we're watching for a pullback. Right now it's pulled back to 12.5% GAN level from this last run up. We're going to be watching for something closer down to the prior breakout zone. Sellers here, sellers here, sellers here. It finally broke out. So right around the 150 mark is pretty interesting. And then we don't really want to see it break below 147 on a closing basis, because that would take it below the bottom of the rotation zone and also below the 50-period exponential moving average. And that would not be good for a pullback for Litecoin. At least it would not be bullish. So if you're bullish, it would not be good to see something like that. Now, let's check in on the daily chart where we are. So right in the middle of the rotation zone. Just watch for this declining 21. As it keeps declining, it's probably going to converge with this 163 target, and that then is going to become major resistance that we'd probably then expect another pullback before it pushed higher. So keep that in mind also. Switching over to Monero. Monero caught in the rotation zone, rotated back up, but so far has not been able to push to any of the key level higher, now pulling back again. This is very early, but just wanted to point it out in case it does trigger before we get another video out. We have a potential double top, and it's still a potential. It has not traded below this, but if we did get a close below the low of 230.37, so we'd be looking for a close below 230, it would trigger this double top, and we'd be watching for a first pullback level about 217, second pullback level 211, and final pullback level 205, and reversal patterns at any of those. So just keep that in mind. Not saying it's going to go down or even trigger, just putting it out there in case it does, because the rotation zone would be out of the way on the 4-hour chart. Now, if this does turn higher, the same levels are still present. Minor level 261, which is good to raise your stops and any longs. Major cluster coming in at 268. Then the next major level before the 281, we'd really be looking at this 278 level. So anywhere from 278 to 281, but let's fine tune that with the daily chart. Daily chart, let's see how that looks. What's going to be really key before we even get to that 270 to 281. If we zoom in here, look at the 21 is going to come down right at this 268 level. So that's going to be major, major resistance to the upside. Keep that in mind. It rarely gets through the upper edge of the rotation zone on the first try. So if you haven't been raising your stops or taking any profits, that would be a very key place to do on the next push higher if we do not trigger the double. So we have for you on Monero, IOTA, and Litecoin. We'll talk to you soon. More updates will come this weekend. Bye for now.